excited to be here. Been looking forward to this time for a while. My sister, I don't know if any of you know her, but Lisa, she lives in the UP and has for a long time. And anyway, I guess you could refer to me as the prodigal brother, son. I heard one person tell me yesterday that knew Lisa that he didn't even know that she had a brother. So, there was a lot of embarrassment from having a brother who lived a very sinful lifestyle and wound up in prison. It wasn't anything that her or most of my family members would like to publicize. There's a lot of hurt there, but I thank God that my story didn't end with what caused me to go to prison because of the grace of God. I'm a new creation, and it's because of Jesus coming into my heart, and it's only because of Him. Unfortunately, it took me living really rough, wild, crazy lifestyle to eventually find Jesus. But the good news is that I did find Him. And so I wanted to start by saying that God answers prayer because my family prayed for me many years. And my mom died of ALS in 2008, and it was nearly 2 years later when I found the Lord. So her prayer was answered, not while she was still living on this earth, but I have something much to look forward to, meeting her in heaven one day. So I'm thankful for that. And I wanted to. At the first service, I expressed my appreciation for my entire family. I have 3 sisters, no brothers, and their families was all at church, and that's only happened a couple times in the last 15 years. So that was pretty neat, and so I wanted to share that with you folks too. The charge that I went to prison for was manufacture of meth and assault of a police officer. I was looking at 7 to 10 years, and also by the grace of God, I was given a 4-year and 3-month sentence. 3 years of that, 3 years and 1 month was mandatory before I could file for an early release. And I also want to share that I've now been 5 years and 5 months clean and sober off drugs and alcohol. And also tobacco products. I quit smoking 2 weeks after I found the Lord, and the hardest habit for me to break was a chewing habit, which I'd chewed tobacco for 18 years, and God took that away a month later. So it all happened right around the same time frame of me accepting the Lord, which also I found the Lord in jail. Woke up in jail and didn't know why I was there, and I was told I might have to stay there until I went to prison. But I was given an additional 5 months before I went to prison. Yeah, I wound up going to prison, but the Lord gave me a little bit of time to set things up, where my children was going to be and everything like that, which my dad, who's down here, he raised my children while I was in prison. So, that's a blessing right there. Because of him, he brought them to see me in prison. And so my family drove hundreds and thousands of miles to get to visit me, because I was in Columbus, Ohio for a year and a half, and then I was transferred to Lima, Ohio, which was about half the distance for a year and 9 months. My family was very supportive, and that's what kept me going. God put me in the surroundings with Christian brothers when I was in prison. We had Bible studies. So I had a tight group of brothers that we could lean on one another. And of course, I kept my family informed at visits. And I remember one time Lisa came clear to Columbus. It just came to me just now, but I remember one time she came to visit me all the way to Columbus, and that was like a 9-hour drive from up here. And she said that she had talked with her husband Lowell's sister earlier that morning, and she said that, well, I hope that you're able to go and take David some encouragement. And her response back to her sister-in-law was, the funny thing is I go down there and he encourages me. and it was neat because while I was in prison, thank you.
It works.
There we go. Thank you very much. The neat thing about when I was in prison, and a lot of people just can't wrap their mind around this, but it was God's way of healing me and working on my heart. I had one-on-one time with him. I sought the Lord without distractions of life out here. And it was truly a blessing because I got to know him like I never did before. And it was so real, I'd always known about God, but it's totally different when you get to know God, and have a personal relationship with him. And my family seen me grow as a Christian while I was in prison. When I seen them at visits, it was like, they was, of course, concerned and interested in me and how I was doing and how life was in prison, but it was more like I was concerned about their welfare. I wasn't so much focused on myself. It was more about how they were doing and trying to lift them up and encourage them, because God was doing something with them or with me on the inside that is really tough to explain. It's hard to explain the miracle and the gift that only comes from the Lord. I met a young man in prison. His name was Melvin. He was from Guatemala, and he didn't speak very good English, but he had just previously found the Lord through his jail and prison experience when we met, and God kept us together all but like 5 months of my total incarceration. And something that was really unheard of was, number one, when we got transferred, we both got transferred to the same prison. We were handcuffed together. We were roommates for 9 months of our sentence. We were handcuffed together, and we not only went to the same prison together, but we wound up in the same dorm together, which, there was no doubt that God wanted us kept together so we could grow in the Lord, so we could have our Bible studies together. And while I was on probation, I was never able to write letters or contact him, or he wasn't supposed to contact me because it would be a violation of my probation. So this past spring, I got off probation a year and a half early, and I've since put money on his phone account and sent him emails, because they can get what they call a JPay. It's like an email, but they can receive that and send from prison. So I contacted him, gave him my phone number and everything, and he's talked to me, and it was so neat because it had been 20 months since we had spoken to one another, since the day that I got released. And when when I picked up the phone, he's like, "Birdsall?" He's like, "Hold on a minute, I have to catch my breath." he couldn't believe that we was talking, and it was awesome because he said that God's been good to him. He's been helping him, and he says, "I don't have the stinky attitude I did when you left." He said, "My attitude's better now," and he said that God was really helping him. And so we've had like 4 or 5 phone conversations, and it's just been neat because 2 of our other Christian brothers have just recently gotten released, and it's like that grace of God. He knows just what Melvin needs at the time, in his perfect timing, because the 2 Christian brothers that there was 4 of us, and 3 of them had just left, one in April and one in May. So now all of a sudden God opens another door for Melvin to get to speak with me. So, it's just little things like that you can just tell God is alive and he cares, and he puts the right people in our lives for a greater purpose. It's funny, I just spoke a message, and this one isn't at all the same. I've got notes here I was supposed to follow, but I'm just taking little rabbit trails. For any of you that don't know how addictive meth is, 97% of people, statistics say, can never get away from it. You might have periods of time in between, but it's like they always go back to it seems like. And I say that with Jesus all things are possible. I'm proof, that my life is a living testimony that he is the only way. Also, my life before Christ was full of sadness. I always searched through the things of the world to fill a hole and a void that only God can fill. I wasn't any different than most of the world in the way that you're looking for happiness and coming up with just circumstantial happiness, which is here for a short time and then it's gone again. Buy a new car, you're happy until the newness wears off. And throughout life, it was just like that. It wasn't until I came all the way to the end of my rope. I had committed a lot of DUIs and had disorderly conduct and the felony charges. A lot of bad happened in my life before I came to the end of myself and finally found Jesus and asked him into my heart. And life after Christ has been never-ending joy. I have something that everybody desperately needs, and that's Jesus living inside me. It's by faith. It's the Spirit of the Lord, and he gives me something that money can't buy. He gives me lasting love and joy and peace and all the fruits of the Spirit, kindness, gentleness, meekness. I care about people. I love people, but it's only through him that I love people. Real love. It's not like, love is so misused. I think that 4-letter word is so misused in the world, and to find real love, you've got to find God. I had job waiting for me right after prison. So this was, a huge blessing. I was given 4 years and 3 months, but after 3 years and 1 month, I was able to file for what they call judicial release, and the judge granted me an early release of 1 year. And my family, my children, my friends, some of them sent letters to the judge saying that I was ready to come home. And the judge, he said, well, I've got a lot of letters here, and they're real good, but I want to hear your story. And so I was given an opportunity to share a testimony. It was unprepared. Wasn't expecting to get to be put in that position, but I always told God that anytime I could honor him and share what he's done in my life, I'd do it. So I had a chance to tell the judge my story, and he gave me an early release. Got off probation a year and a half early. I was given probation for 3 years, and so any and every trip that I made to Michigan or any other state other than Ohio, for those of you that don't know how probation works on felons, you're not allowed to go to another state without having permission. So feels pretty great to be all the way free and not be on paper today. I also went 13 years without a driver's license due to past DUIs, and because of the Lord putting the right people in the right place to help and put some favor on me, I was able to get a driver's license this spring after almost 13 years. And the state of Michigan is one of the toughest states to get your driver's license back when you've been taken it away. And I kid you not that the man who was in Lansing, the hearing officer, it felt like I was being interrogated as if he was the officer quizzing me and questioning me after I had gotten the manufacturer of meth charge. He was very thorough. He dug deep into my past and was talking about everything that I had done wrong in my past. And of course, when God totally restored my life, forgave me, and the Bible says he forgets about it, and as far as the east is from the west, you're wanting to forget about it too. But it doesn't always work that way, and he was doing his job, and I remember I called my dad right after on the way back from Lansing, and I felt horrible the way that the consultation went, and but I told my dad that, he asked me if I had any final remarks, and I did. I pointed the finger to Christ and what he'd done for me, and I told him, I said, I know you're a powerful man, and you have the control of whether or not I get a driver's license. And, I said, but I found the Lord through my whole situation, and he filled me with a joy that you or nobody else can give me, and no driver's license can give me neither. Amen. And I said, if you don't give me a driver's license, I'm going to still have the joy of the Lord giving me the happiness and joy that only he can give. And I left, and 1 month later, my son had the day off school, and he got the mail, and he got a hold of me and said, you want me to open it? And I called him up, and he read the whole letter to me. Boy, let me tell you, that was a happy day. Because, well, I got to share it with my son, a very happy occasion, and it was good news. And I didn't expect it. I figured, well, I'm going to listen to them say that I was denied, and they have very strict stipulations saying that you can only apply for a driver's license once a year. And but this was good news, and said I could upon a reinstatement fee, they would free my name from the state of Michigan. Then I could go through the Ohio process and get my driver's license. So that's what I did, and within a week, I had my driver's license. It's just God has continued to open up one door after another in my life, and it hasn't stopped there. I guess the last thing that I was thinking about was in the last fall, I was able to, I was asked through a friend if I would help a young lady, and I met this young lady, and she was in trouble, and I was given a chance to lead her to the Lord. And 3 weeks ago we got married, and this is my wife over here. Her name's Diamond, and she's my beautiful wife, and it's been a neat journey because I prayed that the Lord would give me a woman who loved Jesus, and she does very dearly. And so our story has just progressed, and others have, God's using us, and he wants to use each and every person, if they'll let him. And I don't know if there's anything that I've said that hits home to any of you, but just know that Jesus is the only way. His word says that, he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. And he wants all of us to make it. So, if you don't know the Lord, you've never asked Jesus into your heart, today is the day of salvation. And I guess I just want to close with that. Thank you for allowing me to come to your church and share my story and testimony, because this isn't about me, it's about him and what he's done, and I'm just letting him use my story to share with others. Thank you. God bless you.